Sound is one of those things that's just everywhere. It's shaping our world every single moment of every day, but we can't see it at all. It's this completely invisible force. So what is it really? Let's dive in and break down the science of what we're actually hearing.
Okay, let's kick things off with a question I think we've all wondered about. You see a huge flash of lightning tear across the sky, and then you wait. A few seconds go by, and then you hear that deep rumble of thunder. We know they happen at the exact same time, so what's with the delay? Well, the answer to that little puzzle gets right to the heart of what sound actually is.
So, to figure out that lightning mystery, we've got to go back to square one. What even is sound? It turns out every single sound you can possibly imagine, from the quietest whisper to a massive explosion, it all starts with the exact same simple thing, a vibration.
Yep, that's it. At its most basic level, sound is just a vibration. When something vibrates, think about a guitar string or even your own vocal cords, it pushes on the stuff around it, creating a disturbance that travels outward. We call that a wave. But, and this is super important, that wave needs something to travel through. It can't just travel through empty space. It needs what scientists call a medium.
And believe me, the medium it's traveling through changes everything. Just look at these speeds. In the air around us, sound chugs along at about 343 meters per second. That sounds fast, right? But put it in water, and suddenly it's moving more than 4 times faster. And in solid steel, whoa, it's an incredible 17 times faster. And that right there is the answer to our lightning question. Light is just ridiculously fast. It gets to your eyes pretty much instantly. But the sound of the thunder, it has to physically push its way through the air, which, as you can see, is the slowest medium on our list. That delay you're hearing is literally the time it's taking for that sound wave to make the trip to your ears.
And this is why all those epic space battles in the movies, with all the huge explosions, they're totally silent. Yep, space is a vacuum. There's no air, no particles, nothing for the vibration to travel through. So a massive explosion could happen right in front of your face and you wouldn't hear a thing. It's a simple rule, no medium, no sound. Period.
All right, so we've established that sound is a wave. But what makes one sound different from another? Why is a whisper, and a shout, a shout? Or what makes a deep bass note so different from a high-pitched whistle? Well, it all boils down to 2 main characteristics of that wave. And here they are, amplitude and frequency. Amplitude is actually pretty simple to picture. It's just how tall the wave is. Think of it as the wave's power or its raw energy. Now, frequency is all about how often the waves pass by. Are they packed tightly together or spread out? We measure this in hertz, which is really just a way of saying how many waves per second. Okay, so here's the magic part. It's all about how our brains translate these physical things into what we actually experience. A wave with a big amplitude, a really tall, powerful wave, we hear that as a loud sound. And a wave with a high frequency, lots and lots of waves packed together per second, we hear that as a high-pitched sound. It's that simple. Big amplitude means loud, high frequency means high pitch. So we've got the physics of the wave sorted, but how in the world does a simple vibration moving through the air become, a beautiful piece of music or a conversation with a friend inside our heads? Well, that incredible journey from a physical wave to a mental thought all happens inside this amazing piece of biological engineering, the human ear. And what's really cool is that the way we make sound follows the exact same rules. When you talk, air rushes up from your lungs and makes your vocal cords vibrate. That's it. And when you change the pitch of your voice, all you're really doing is tightening or loosening those cords to change the frequency of the vibrations. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Okay, so let's walk through how we actually hear. It's an incredible process. First, the outer part of your ear, the part you can see, acts like a satellite dish, collecting sound waves and funneling them inward. Those waves travel down the ear canal and hit the eardrum, making it vibrate. Then, this vibration gets passed along and made even stronger by 3 of the tiniest bones in your entire body. And for the grand finale, these vibrations reach the inner ear, where a little snail-shaped thing called the cochlea turns it all into electrical signals. Those signals shoot up to the brain, and voila, your brain interprets it as sound. What an incredible piece of natural machinery. But as amazing as our ears are, they do have their limits. The average human can only hear frequencies between about 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz. Anything lower than that is called infrasound. Sounds so deep that we can't hear them, but elephants can, and they use them to talk to each other over huge distances. And anything higher is ultrasound. That's the super high-frequency world where bats use sound to see in the dark, and your dog can hear a whistle that's completely silent to you.
Now, understanding all this stuff about sound isn't just for passing a science test. By really getting a handle on these principles, we humans have created some mind-blowing technology that lets us see with sound, going way beyond our natural senses and literally changing the world.
I mean, think about it. We use sonar to map out the deepest, darkest trenches of the ocean floor, places we can't see. We use medical ultrasound to look inside a person's body, to see organs or a developing baby, all without making a single incision. And honestly, nature beat us to it by millions of years. Whales use low-frequency sounds to send messages across entire oceans. It really is a kind of superpower.
But there's a flip side to this story, because when sound becomes something we don't want to hear, it's not just an annoyance anymore. It becomes noise. And noise is a serious form of pollution, one with some pretty severe consequences for our health and for the planet.
So what exactly is noise pollution? Well, the official definition is pretty straightforward. It's any sound that is excessive, unwanted, or disruptive, and has a harmful effect. And we're not just talking about a car alarm going off for a minute. We're talking about the constant, non-stop drone of traffic, construction, and machines that's become the background soundtrack to so many of our lives.
And the scale of this is, well, it's huge. It's almost hard to get your head around. Just look at this number. In Europe alone, an estimated 113 million people are living with long-term road traffic noise that's loud enough to be officially considered harmful to their health. Let that sink in. This isn't just an annoyance. It's a full-blown public health crisis.
And the effects on our bodies go way beyond just feeling irritated. The health impacts are serious, and they're well documented. We're talking about things like increased stress and high blood pressure, constant sleep disturbances, tinnitus, that ringing in your ears, and even permanent hearing loss. It can even increase your risk for heart disease and lead to faster cognitive decline. This is serious stuff.
And it's not just humans who are suffering. For wildlife, our noise can be absolutely catastrophic. It literally drowns out the sounds animals rely on to find a mate, to hunt for food, or to warn each other about predators. It can confuse marine animals like whales so badly that they'll beach themselves just to escape the deafening sound of sonar. In a way, we are erasing the natural soundtrack of the planet, the very sounds these ecosystems need to function.
So, all of this brings us to one final, really important question. Now that we understand the physics of sound, how it shapes our lives, and the real damage it can cause when it becomes noise, what do we do about it? The challenge ahead is to take everything we know and use it to design a better-sounding world. A world with quieter cities, protected natural spaces, and a soundscape that's healthier for every living thing.